Donald Trump has a very significant problem with voters all over the United States. And the problem, of course, is that he is losing support from every demographic. Now, when I say every, I want you to understand, I don't mean most, I don't mean a majority, I don't mean almost all, I mean every demographic in the country. Donald Trump is hemorrhaging support, even the groups that statistically are Donald Trump's biggest backers. So here's what's going on. This week, obviously knowing that he is crashing and burning in this campaign, Donald Trump decided to bring on some of his old staffers from some of his failed campaigns in the past, of course, including Mr. Womp Womp himself, Corey Lewandowski. So I don't think that's going to do you any favors, bud, but sure. Having to bring on a bunch of losers from your previous campaign certainly isn't a sign that everything is going to hell for you, right? No, of course it is. But the polls are the bigger problem, right? It's not just about who is in charge of Trump's campaign or who is not. It's the fact that Donald Trump is a deeply unlikable person and the voters across the country are turning against him. Here's the first one. I've actually been kind of saving up several different polls all throughout this week to kind of lay it all out for you today. And the first poll I want to talk about is one that confirms what I have been telling y'all. And apparently it made a lot of people mad that I did not realize. But it's what I've been telling y'all for 2 weeks, and now this new poll confirms it. And here's what I've been saying. Part, definitely not all, and definitely not even a majority, but part of the reason Harris and, of course, by extension, Walz are doing so well in the polls is because so many voters hated Biden. And they hated Donald Trump, too. They hated Trump more than they hated Biden, but they didn't want to vote for Biden. They were what was called double haters. And back in June, you had 17% of the country classified as double haters. But according to the latest round of polling from Monmouth University, the number of double haters in this country, those who hate both the Democrat and the Republican, has been cut in half since Biden dropped out. Let me read you this. This Monmouth University poll found that the number of double haters, voters who dislike both candidates, has been cut in half since Harris joined the race. The poll found 8% of voters, right now, do not have favorable views of either Harris or Trump, while 17% said they did not have favorable views of either Biden or Trump back when Biden was the nominee. So Harris has already cut that in half. And yes, the cutting it in half means those people went to her. But it continues. A poll in June, before Biden dropped out, found that 54% of the double haters who had unfavorable views of Biden and Trump would not support either candidate, while 28% said they'd support Biden, 19% said they would back Trump. The new poll found that Harris now has 53% of the vote among these Biden-Trump double haters. 11% of those who dislike Biden and Trump said they would vote for the former president, while 35% say they would back neither candidate. So Trump's numbers with the double haters went down. Harris took the Democrats from 28% of the double haters to 53%. Absolutely friggin' remarkable. And something that I don't think anybody could have predicted. On top of that, Democratic enthusiasm was 46%. 46% of Democrats in June said, we're enthusiastic about this election. Less than half. That number today in this new poll, 85% of Democrats say that they are enthusiastic. And for the record, I'm one of them. And I don't know if you've been able to tell from my recent segments, I'm pretty jazzed up about this. This is awesome. This is electric. And I know a lot of people compare it to President Obama's, 2008 campaign. And I do see a lot of similarities, but I'm going to be honest, this feels even more electric than that. This feels like so much more optimism than what we even saw with Obama. And that was a campaign based on hope and change. But it gets so much worse for Donald Trump as we continue to dive into these polls. The poll also found that 48% of registered voters said they will definitely vote for Harris. 43% said the same of Trump. So this one has Harris up by 5 points among definite voters. Moving on to an Emerson College poll that may actually have the worst news for Donald Trump, and that is that for the first time in over 20 years, just to let you know how historic this is, for the first time in over 20 years, voters over the age of 70 support the Democratic nominee over the Republican nominee. Voters over the age of 65 since the 2000 election have been solidly Republican. That was the one demographic that no matter what, Republicans could count on voters over the age of 65 supporting the Republican candidate. Not anymore. For the first time in my adult life, voters over the age of 65 and 70 are supporting the Democrat. Harris has 51%, Trump is at 48%. So not a huge, gap there, but a gap nevertheless. If Harris wins that demographic, and she's already crushing Trump with the young voters, it's done. It is done. There is no doubt about it. This election would be over. If these numbers hold, landslide in November, and I'm not exaggerating. And, as I said, it continues to get worse for Donald Trump because outside of the elderly voters, what's Donald Trump's largest voting blocks? White, non-college educated, working class voters. And for the record, I want to point something out here because somebody messaged me like super pissed off the last time I mentioned white, non-college educated, working class voters. They said, how dare you attack people that don't have college educations, which I didn't. That's just what they're called. They're people that do not have college degrees. That's not an attack on them. That's how they're classified. That is a description of these people. I'm not saying it to be mean. But anyway, that group has consistently supported Donald Trump. And they still, majority of them support Donald Trump today. However, his lead with the white, non-college educated voters has been cut in half. Donald Trump previously had the support, or he was leading by 25 points with that demographic, okay? So by 25 points, Donald Trump was winning over white voters that did not get a college degree. Today, he's only winning that demographic by 14 points. This election may be over before we even get out of the month of August, folks. Let's not forget, next week starts the Democratic Convention, and if conventional wisdom holds, no pun intended, Harris is going to get a pretty big bounce. She doesn't need a bounce at this point. If she gets a bounce with the way her polls are right now, go ahead and wrap it up. Let's call it right now. It's over. Even if she doesn't get a bounce, as long as she doesn't, take a hit, then she's still overwhelmingly beating him. She has made inroads with Latino voters, increasing her margin of support with them, taking more away from Trump. With black voters, she has more than doubled her margin with Trump with those voters. The elderly voters now favor her. The non-college educated voters are going over to her. It's insane. I don't even know what to say to describe this because this has never been seen. And I mean that genuinely. This has not been seen. All of these things happening together at the same time hasn't ever happened. Ever. In my lifetime, at least. So this is remarkable. This is historic. This is optimism. This is enthusiasm. This is holy crap. November is probably going to be pretty damn fun. America's Lawyer has launched its own YouTube channel. Now, this channel, of course, is still in its early phases of development, but you can help grow it by subscribing. Just go to youtube.com/TheAmericasLawyer, and you'll get all of the great content from Mike Papantonio and myself that we produce every single week.